candidates for a ceasefire live. We are a group of different candidates from different backgrounds. We are a mix of Greens, progressive Dems, and independents. We believe it is about the party and the individual. We don't believe it's about the party. We believe it's the individual, not the party. Just some quick updates. Today is the last day in New Jersey to register as a Dem. If you are interested in becoming a uncommitted voter in the primaries for June. And I already told the group of Uncommitted in New Jersey, that I would support them and their mission. So you'll be hearing me reminding everyone regularly every week that it is okay to vote uncommitted and it's okay to be a Dem as long as we're voting for our morals and our beliefs and the right thing. And when you go in June, you can vote just for the uncommitted. You do not have to vote for any other candidate that you do not support. So I just encourage that. Because uncommitted.
I think it's a great movement. We get into our own personal things. I post the uncommitted hashtag and uncommitted content. I'm not uncommitted. I am 100% committed to never ever voting for a Democrat or Republican. But the idea, the unity, that is, look, even as a Green, you're going, that's the bipartisanship that I would like to see. When our left, right, and center work together, they're working together for things like peace and prosperity, right? Not war and the Monsanto Act.
Yes. And I just want to say the ballot line has not been removed in New Jersey. Even though it was a very big successful thing that the line was abolished, but they sent out the sample ballots for primaries. And turns out it's not really abolished. And the ballot line for the primaries, it has Joe Biden in this giant paragraph, and it has uncommitted in a tiny little corner. Like, you really have to search for them in the most tiny print. So it is actually this Friday, I'll give a sample to Terrence so he could actually show it to everybody. So it's very a not equal ballot.
Look, both the polling, they're all, the people that are around you, right? That's something that I've posted like a lot recently, is what they're asking you to do. Don't believe your ears. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe when you go in and buy groceries. Don't believe the price of the groceries. It's actually gotten cheaper. Right? Don't believe your rent bills. It's actually gotten cheaper. Like, they expect you to completely ignore reality, right? Millions of people across the United States, right, are marching in the streets from the cold to the rain for Palestine, right? For a ceasefire. Every single meeting that our government has now is interrupted by protesters for a ceasefire. Every single one. Right. The majority of people in America think that what you're seeing is ethnic cleansing. Right. Most of the people think that you're looking at a straight up genocide.
Yep.
Right. But what they're telling you, people are supporting Joe Biden by 100%, by 90%. Nobody is supporting Joe Biden by 90%. That's insane.
These polls are very not accurate.
Well, no, and even like we'll do a poll and get vastly different numbers. Now, there's all sorts of problems with our polling, right? But when you look at their polls,
they don't represent the candidate, and they don't represent each candidate.
Look at who does their polling and what the pool for their polling is, because a lot of times that, like New York Times polls and all of this, they're polling like 500 people on, in the Democratic Party, and to feel what they felt. And to say, like 98% of the people that are currently registered Democrats working for the Democratic Party support Joe Biden is not the same as saying that the general public does. In fact, it's the exact opposite. And I kind of joke about it. What did you poll the 4 people standing next to him? Right. So but when you look at our polls, and I go out of my way, I post on right-wing sites. I post on, I post put as far and wide as I possibly can. And they'll poll 1,000 people or 500 people. We'll poll 100,000 people and get completely different numbers.
Yep.
But it's this weird thing where they expect you. It's not just this issue, with Palestine in Maui. Don't believe your ears. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe the people on the ground. Right. East Palestine. Don't believe your ears. Don't
Yep.
believe your eyes. Don't believe the people that are on the ground. Flint water. Don't believe your ears. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe the people on the ground. Palestine. Don't believe your ears. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe the people on the ground. Right? They expect you to completely ignore reality,
Yep.
not just spin, but reality, like tangible reality. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It really is.
I know we talked.
It's the gaslighting. It's like they're the extreme manipulation, extreme gaslighting, where it's like, this is the reality, but we're telling you it's not real.
Yeah, it's gotten so far, in some cases, in Palestine specifically, it has gotten so far out of control that Cornell West and Jill Stein agree with Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson.
Oh, yeah.
That is how much against, and everybody in between. That is such a huge swath of the American population, right? For them to agree on it, it has to be how the American people feel.
Yeah, and that's very true. When I remember when Alex Jones came out and started speaking on it, I was just like, I'm seeing
what is going on? What insane world?
Like,
But there's certain things.
Am I wrong?
And I write it. How wrong do you have to be for Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson to be right? How obvious does it have to be where not even they can ignore it? Right.
Yeah.
And we can look at other issues like that. But I mean, it goes to the point where even the buffoons aren't buying your bullshit.
Yeah. And Tucker Carlson did one other good thing. He actually brought O'Malley, I forgot his last name, O'Malley, onto his show from the Uhuru 3 and talked about the corruption, because O'Malley and O'Malley, Jesse, and Penny, they were all arrested for speaking about reparations, and they are being charged with being like Russian spies and Russian propagandists, and the charges are completely false and do not stick. And Tucker Carlson actually brought him on the show recently and gave him this huge platform, where he's been on a whole bunch of other shows. But for Tucker Carlson to bring O'Malley on and to speak on the injustice and how our court system is corrupt, I'm just like, whoa.
Hey, even a broken clock is right twice a day. You know, there are, and I can, maybe some people can't, right? That they can't separate that, look, this person is wrong and a pretty trash human being, but they're right about this specific issue. And it seems like there's, you know, that, I don't know, just people can't separate themselves from it. They can't, look, if you won't listen to me, right? Yep. You're on the far right wing, right? You're a Tucker Carlson viewer. You won't listen to me. Fair enough.
Yeah.
This is one of your people saying it. Mm-hmm. Right. And I'm fine with that. You know, I can't, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert, right?
Yeah.
These are complete and utter clowns, right? They are one of the only groups of people that are calling for the release of Julian Assange.
Yeah.
Why is that? I don't know, right? They are trash humans, but they're right on that one issue. And it's just, look, even a broken clock is right twice a day. And I can't get around that fact.
MTG and another Republican, I think his name was Massey, or I can't remember his name. They were actually the first people before a lot of Dems to call for a ceasefire and stopping the funds in Israel, and then saying we need the funds in the U.S., not to go overseas. And I'm just like,
if there was, when you look at what AIPAC is doing, when you look at, I mean, the amount of senators, it's not just that they are supporting Israel or supporting the other side. They are literally writing pre-written statements from the Israeli government live on TV as a sitting senator.
Yep.
Right? Fetterman has a foreign agent literally writing his tweets for him. Mm-hmm. If it was any other country, you would be caught as a spy. You would be put in prison. Mm-hmm. Like that is the definition of being a traitor. You are working for another country. You can say, or you can support Israel, but there's that line where you've now went into, you're not supporting anything. You work for them. Mm-hmm. You are being controlled by a foreign agent. What that name of that foreign agent is, right, shouldn't matter. If it's Russia, they would all be going to jail. If it was China, they would all be going to jail.
Unless
But because
giving them a lot of money.
Even then, this is beyond blatant. You're like, even then, this goes on like the normal political, connections that have to be made to make, world trade work. Right? There's parts of politics that are going to require you to talk to other countries and have agreement with them and work together for an industry or like I said, for trade. But that's not what this is. This is direct control of our military, our news and propaganda, and I mean our generals and heads of the Pentagon come out and read unverified Mossad talking points on a daily basis. And not even to count the times where it's not even that they're like repeating lies that they know are lies. I just, it blows my mind how far this has gone beyond. It's just infiltration and control. We all made this meme that showed it was like Homer Simpson and Bart Simpson, and Homer's all like, "Oh, you're doing it, boy, you're genociding," and it's got like a little America, right? And then it's got Bart Simpson with the Israeli flag, and he's like, "I'm doing it, Papa." But in all reality, it's reversed.
Yeah.
It's Israel that's pulling the strings, and we're Bart Simpson, right? We're the puppet for the other side. It's not the power dynamic isn't even that way. It just, our founding fathers would be rolling in their graves.
Oh yeah, they would be. And like, now we have religion and state together when people are just like, when the founding fathers did not want that happening, they wanted everything separate.
Some of them did. That's the game, right? The founding fathers were not in any way, shape, or form a monolith, right? And even more importantly, these guys were not silent on any of these issues. They wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote what they felt about religion, about government, about federalism, right? All of it, right? They wrote constantly about it. And there were some founding fathers that you would put as being, hardcore evangelical Christians, no doubt. There were some of our founding fathers that were the exact opposite and would have gone all the way to atheist. There were some of our founding fathers that were so intrigued with Native American culture that we probably would consider them pagan, right, in today's world. But they were really a very eclectic group of thought on the issue. And there were some of our founding fathers that did see as a very distinct separation between the two. And in most of American history until recently, we seem to like that idea. But it also never broke outside of Christianity. Right? Now that we have other religions and other schools of thought in the mix, you're seeing that kind of move back to uniting the two because they see it, they're losing power. Right? The coming out in a speech every, 4th of July and saying, well, this is a Christian nation, isn't going to fly anymore. And they feel that. Right? We want to be a moral nation. Right? We want to be a nation that doesn't support, genocide.
Yeah.
And when they say that, there's no Christian behind it. Like they all come out and
I just want to say I'm sorry. I usually am not on my cell phone, but Jason Call asked for a link, so I had to copy and paste.
He wants to get on this. We have some kind of good news towards the end with the Torah Jews in New York. We're gonna we'll explain everything that's going on with that, but I want to make sure that Jason gets on here as well to kind of Yeah, bring all of that, bring it all
Yes.
that together. But we
Yeah, so
will.
hopefully, he said he was about to be driving, so hopefully when he's done driving, he logs on, not while he's driving, because we do not promote lives and drives.
No, he can put his phone in the thing and connect it through Bluetooth. But nah, man, you need to focus on driving. It's even
Yeah,
worse. Like I'm like I do. I'm bad at that. Like I live stream when I'm on my motorcycle. Like
yeah, we don't lives and drives together. We say no
uh,
live
I
drives.
got a whole Iron Man thing going on, so you can kind of see my face when we're driving and the road. It's a blast. But yeah, be safe out there. Be safe out there. No, I think it's just frustrating to see the amount of control. Like I said, when it comes to our founding fathers, the thing that they would be upset about is the control over our government. Whether that's religious in tone or not, I don't think that they would, like I said, there'd be a lot of different thought on that. And they argued about it at the time, right? This was the same conversation that they were having. And like I said, when there was that at least perceived homogeny in religion in America, like I said, the Christian nation speech, then you didn't see this drive for it because they all kind of agreed on that. But
Yeah,
now that we've kind of went past that, there are people, it's really that they feel they're losing power, right? They got to put up statues, they got to, write the 10 commandments. But when you said those things, when you said America is a Christian nation, did that mean that you took care of the poor,
yep.
that you helped the homeless,
Nope, they
right?
didn't.
That you build houses, right? How come none of the things that Jesus talked about as a Christian, none of the things that he went out about,
Yeah,
right? Should we talk
rob
about
is the
money
richest
changers in the
criminal.
church?
And
Should we talk about money, money's influence on politics, money changers in the church? If now the government is the church, right? We have to remove money from it completely.
yeah,
Dark
but
money is, I feel like Jesus would be against dark money, no?
yes, no, but a lot of churches have dark money in general, like Joel
But
Osteen.
again, those things have nothing to do with Christianity.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't. But
Those are weird money making scams that people have made up that we've
yeah,
now like put into a system. But
in a pod. It's peanut butter and jelly. For them, they both go hand in hand.
and like I said, it didn't used to be that way, but America has changed, and I would see it with a lot of these issues. There's a changing of the guard,
Yeah,
and you're seeing things that we kind of felt like we had already gotten past. Being brought back up because they see themselves losing the fight every day. It's kind of what we post on the pro genocide pages, right? This war isn't getting more popular as time goes on.
it gets less popular.
Every day it gets less and less
And
and
every day,
less
people lose
popular.
more and more faith in the elected officials because people think, oh, they get paid big bucks. If we have them say this, people are going to listen to them. We have no trust in the government. Majority of America has zero trust in the government. And if the government is saying one thing, usually that means the opposite is right. And we all have to go make that quick left turn. If they're saying go right, we have to go left because that's our safety. And the only person to really blame in loss of trust in the government is the entire administration themselves. Like, they've never given anyone a reason to trust them. All they do is lie. And,
And we never hold them accountable, right?
Yeah.
We never, like, as the voting population, we never hold them accountable. We kind of get into this rhythm of, well, it's always been shitty. It's always going to be shitty. And there's nothing we can do. And it leads to things like 70% of Americans, 60% of Americans not coming out and voting. Most Americans don't vote.
Yeah.
Right. And that, because they don't vote, we're never able, as long as we have that little 40% that really breaks up into 20% and 20% of right and right, that we never are able to kick them out of office to make any meaningful change because, well, it's only 40% of the population voting.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen, that's to bring it back to the uncommitted thing, that's been a real, like, inspiration. Like, that is the power of your vote. Use it. We still have it. Like, they are doing everything they can to remove your right to vote. But as it sits right now, this moment, we still have that power. And the sooner we use it, the sooner we will be able to topple this monster. Like, step one is getting these corrupt assholes out of office and replacing them with good candidates.
Yep, with ethical leaders.
Like, that is step one, and then they can start dismantling the system. But re-electing the same corrupt people that lie to you every 4 to 6 years and expecting them to do anything different than they have done their entire careers is a bit insane.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The kind of idea that a Joe Biden, a lifelong warmongering, slightly racist writer of the mass incarceration crime bill, right, architect of mass incarceration, was going to somehow become president and become a good fucking person. Why would you expect that?
Yeah, and they did a lot to hide, especially with the younger voters. They did a lot to hide his past, and now everyone.
They still, I haven't been able to figure out. There's the Harry Sessions.
Yeah.
There's this, like, I call them rich teens for the establishment. It is the weirdest, like, moment I've ever seen where, like, this 19-year-old kid is trying to sell me Joe Biden. Like, I haven't known him my entire life.
Yeah. And, he's always, because he's making a ton of money doing this. So no matter who wins, he's going to be fine.
There's
they don't care who wins.
There's Harry, and there's another little kid. They live stream from the inside of their brand new Audis. I mean,
oh my god,
Americans are literally starving to death.
Yeah, no, it sounds like the people who actually that cook in their Tesla.
Oh, what is the Ed and Brian Krasenstein? They're another like Act Blue kind of puppets.
What are those people?
They used to be this is a weird story. All right. Yeah. They used to be, and when you watch their videos, they still have that vibe. But they used to be a Justin Bieber fan club.
Wait, what?
So yeah. So for our listeners, they used to be a Justin Bieber fan club, and then they got picked up by one of the same kind of like PR firms that the Democratic Party uses, that Harry and all of them are using now. Mm-hmm. And they were just like, their job was just to kind of troll Trump and kind of Trump followers.
Yeah.
Right. And then they got exposed for being puppets, and then they shut down their sites completely, their pages completely, and disappeared for about 3 years. And then about a year ago, they popped back up, right? $1 million houses, brand new Teslas, right? And the same game. They're just extremely well-funded puppets.
That's wild. They were a Justin Bieber fan club?
They were and go and watch their video. Their whole demeanor, when you watch it, you're all like, oh, yeah. Why are we taking geopolitical advice from a Justin Bieber fan club again?
That's wild. I didn't know that. They were they always seemed off to me. Something about them was it was never authentic.
No, I think that should be exactly the vibe you get from all of those people. None of them are authentic.
Yeah.
Like they are.
It's very uncomfortable to.
I call them the Hunter Biden defense platform.
Yeah, they're very uncomfortable people to like watch. I think I blocked them both anyway, because it was just like you get like that bad feeling when you see certain people and you're just like, wait, something's very off. Something is very off. Yeah,
the feeling you get when you know someone's smiling at you, but you know they're lying to your face.
Yes.
Right, and that gets you in. They've got that, and it's a lot of them, and it's a very democratic thing, right? When you're denied, your food stamps. Right. And not because they weren't available to you, but because the person that was behind the desk didn't like you.
Yeah.
Right. And when you say, oh, but can I just get the paper? And they say, well, it's not our policy. It's not me. It's in our policy that we can't give out a Form 32B. Right now, I'm not mad at you. I'm smiling at you when I'm saying it. I mean, I feel bad. If there was something I could do, I would. but there's not.
Yeah,
Knowing that
kind of
you're
very.
going to send somebody home to an empty, they're out here pushing for a genocidal sociopath with dementia.
Mhm.
But they're doing it with a smile. They're completely like, they're non threatening in every conceivable way, including their voice.
Mhm.
Right? Like this weird milk toast. Like I said, it's that, and you only see this in the Democratic Party. Like for some reason, this does not exist on the right. But not that corporate puppets don't exist on the right, but that brand of corporate puppet, right?
Yes.
They actually go in the opposite direction where they go over the top threatening, right? They get kicked off of social media for like openly threatening people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
But
don't think Jason is going to be able to join us.
we'll be back on Friday, and he's Jill Stein's campaign manager, so he is
Yeah.
extremely busy at the moment.
Oh yeah.
We're all friends.
Oh, hey Craig.
We've got it's the Green Party Day. Make sure to donate to her campaign, Green Party in New Jersey. Yeah, please. We're going after this one, and maybe in the last part of this one, we'll do a little bit of fundraising. But as soon as we're done here, we're going to shoot over to TikTok and do a 30-minute, 45-minute fundraiser.
Yes. Now that we understand the entire platform and going live.
This on Wednesdays
We
is
practice our language, right, Terrence?
yeah, I will zero F-bombs. I won't. I will be a good boy, right? So that we can raise some funds for a lot of the stuff we've going on. This show is specifically for the ceasefire and kind of that world. So we try not to bring in fundraising and other issues. It happens, unfortunately, right? A lot of these things are connected. They're the same people, like literally the same people.
Maybe you could clear this up for me because I've been so busy this week. Did Iran make Biden pull the IDF out of Gaza?
It's hard to tell, okay? Yeah. Iran did not retaliate from the embassy bombing, which is a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. By not retaliating, they may have leveraged that, right, against the US, right? Like this can only get more messy. Your own people don't want this war. And something interesting to see in this. A couple of weeks ago, because of the Houthis, there was rebels in Iraq. In both Syria and Iraq, the green zones were attacked by drones, by some surface-to-air missiles, right? We lost some U.S. soldiers' lives. And through, I think, Qatar, Blinken contacted Iran and asked, can you pull your guys back? Right? We don't want to expand it. Can you please just like what, you're obviously going to continue to attack the Houthis. You don't have a lot of control over them, but in Iraq and Syria, you do have a little bit of pull, right? And since they made that plea with Iran, there have been no attacks on U.S. soldiers. None. And I just think it's so interesting that America has more control over our worst enemy, in quotes, right?
And they could actually
have a violence
conversation with them
than we do with Israel, who's supposed to be our best friends.
Yeah.
So I can't, like, the U.S. will never admit to openly negotiating with Iran.
Oh, you froze again. You'll be back. Okay, we're back.
I'll be back. The U.S. government will never openly admit to negotiating with Iran. We negotiate like 14-year-olds do in middle school, right? Yes. I'm not talking to you.
Yep.
And still, like somehow y'all are willing to destroy the entire world, but you have to go and talk to your friend over there to go and send a message to him because I'm not talking to him. I don't know how that is a negotiation, and I don't see how you can, if it is important enough that it is going to destroy the entire planet, you want to start a nuclear war over this, then it's important enough for you to pick up the phone and talk directly to your enemies. right? But there does seem to be some backroom negotiations between us and Iran in the area. It's more likely than not it's true, but again, they're never going to admit to that. And
Yeah,
you saw it, like, there's not a lot of, by the rules of war, whether moral or not, by the rules of war, that attack on an embassy in a third country was very illegal. And unfortunately, by the rules, there are rules of war. Iran has the right to retaliate,
yeah, and
right? They have a right to defend themselves by international law. And the fact that they didn't means they probably use that as a bargaining chip.
So I'm just kind of curious to see if they really pulled out or not, and what's really happening. Because I've been watching some videos. Some people are like, I'm sad that the U.S. is having us pull out. You know, some of the IDF people are saying they're sad that they're pulling out. So I'm kind of curious to see if this is real.
I don't know. I mean, pulling out of Palestine, of Gaza, is a little bit of a joke, right? In the same way that, you know, going from a prison riot, right, back to lockdown is pulling out. They're just going back to lockdown. It's the world's biggest prison. They're not free, right? They're not. It's not like the thumb is off of them, right? The boot hasn't been brought off of their throat. It's just cheaper to starve them to death than it is to drop bombs on them, right? Mm-hmm. The only reason, like, it was just what they learned from World War II was that it was way too expensive to use gas chambers. Mm-hmm. It's way cheaper to just starve them to death than use U.S. bombs.
Yep.
Right? So, like, some of it is that. Some of it is that they're getting to the end of where they're going to be able to attack Damascus, right? Mm-hmm. They're really getting to the end of where they're going to be able to attack Lebanon, both the open policy where you could just randomly murder civilians in Lebanon every couple of months, right? Bomb their airports and infrastructure every couple of months. That has came to an end. And in that coming to an end, it does come with, again, Lebanon's right to defend itself. Mm-hmm. Right? Lebanon's right to defend its borders and the illegality of someone else attacking them. Mm-hmm. Right? And because those things are coming to an end, Israel has a real problem. There's arms shipments that are being held up, and they've already went through 50% of their ammunition. Right? Now that they're at 50% of
if you think about it. And I did math the other day. So in 2023, we had 2.1 million Palestinians in Gaza. And then the other day with Rafah City, it was 1.4 million. And when I went to Google, I was like, wait a second, it's over 600,000. The difference.
And look, the numbers that we have on this are so very preliminary.
Keep saying 35,000 or 50,000. I'm just like,
the fact that you're hearing it on the social media sphere means it is the absolute minimum verifiable amount, right? Yeah. We are look at those cities, right? There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people it was already the most densely populated place on the planet, mm-hmm. right? So when you look across Palestine and you look across Gaza and you see every single apartment building that's been razed to the ground, right? There are hundreds of people underneath there.
Yeah. And then you don't just, but that giant, so I want to go into perspective of a time frame. So from October 7, 2023 until we're in April 10th, 2024, over 600,000. It went from 2.1 million. And I think it's less than 1.4 million because we've been at 1.4 million for a very long time. But that number difference is huge.
Well, and people do escape. People do, you know what I mean, go to Jordan and Egypt and all of it. So there is some people that manage to get out at the time.
I gave that around 150,000. So if we're doing the actual number, we're already looking at 700,000, 750,000. So I already gave grace to 150,000, maybe.
But you're dealing with Holocaust deniers.
Yeah. So
right?
but
Is
yeah.
it they will go out of their way if you come out and say 6 million Jews were killed in if you say 6.5 million Jews were killed in the
Mhm.
Holocaust, right? Their argument will be, well, that number is not true. It's 6.2, right? And then they have spent their entire, it is not, they're Holocaust deniers, right? There comes a point where it's just a Holocaust, right? And they will fight with us as the numbers get higher. They will fight with us on either one over like minimums. So what? It's okay that there was 29,000 kids killed and not 30,000. That makes it less of a Holocaust, right? In the same way that the previous generation of Holocaust deniers, right, for the Jewish Holocaust, would argue, oh, well, they said officially there's 6.5. We only count 6.2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's
somehow
this
that
this little.
undermines the nightmare of the Holocaust.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So, sometimes you get into these things and look, you're just looking for a way to deny the Holocaust.
Mhm.
Right? It's not the numbers that's the problem.
Yeah, no, it's the
Right?
person that you're dealing with and having this conversation with. But yeah, so I just like to throw that number out there where but this is me, I would need, evidence. I need someone to explain to me, an independent third party evaluation or research, an independent investigation to be completely done, unbiased from the US and Israel to determine the actual numbers. Otherwise, you cannot explain from 2023 to 2024 that large amount of number of people.
Don't believe your ears. Don't
Yeah.
believe your eyes. Right?
Yeah.
That is the game, right? You see the kind of devastation that you're going. There
Yeah.
aren't a lot
It's so
of
heartbreaking.
records in the world, like there's, what is it, Mikey Rappaport is always asking for, well, let me see your birth certificate or social security number. First of all, I don't think you understand what a social security number is. Why would a Palestinian have a social security number? And
They were
just
never
like
given the right to actually have one. They're not considered people.
well, no, they're not Americans. Why would you have a social security number?
Well, no, my friend who's
Social
Palestinian.
security number is a worker. A social security number is the number that the United States government gives you so that you pay into social security. No Palestinian will
No,
ever have a
a
social
birth
security number.
certificate. He's not allowed to. My friend who's Palestinian, because when he left to be a teacher, he was not able to obtain an ID. He was not allowed to get a birth certificate in Palestine. And when he got the program, because you're right about the Social Security, when he got the teaching program to come to the U.S., they blocked him and said it wasn't real. And
But
he
that's
actually
kind of the thing of a Holocaust as well. So, in the same way that a lot of the Holocaust survivors, they don't know when their great grandma was born, they don't know when their grandparents were
yeah,
born or when their parents were born, because they left with everything that was on their back, just their children and, the clothes they were wearing.
yeah.
And the house that they lived in was bombed. There
Mm-hmm.
is no birth certificate because you've bombed, you've
Oh no,
destroyed
this was
everything in
way, yeah,
Gaza.
100%. This was way before October 7th. This happened in 2008, 2009. This was 2008, 2009. And again, this was during like the colonization and occupation. So and there were still missiles, because he was telling me, how he was going to go see a group of his friends, and they all just exploded in front of him because of a bomb. And
Well, I mean, I think just like Ukraine, this did not start on October 7th.
No, it did not.
Escalated
It
on
started many, many
escalated
years ago.
escalated on October 7th, but this has been 75 years of occupation and apartheid.
Yeah.
Right? So like I won't argue that it escalated on October 7th, but it definitely didn't start on October 7th. Wrong word.
Yeah.
Right? In the same way that Ukraine didn't start when Russia finally invaded them. You bombed Russia. You let Nazis bomb Russians in the Donbass for almost 10 years with
Yeah.
U.S. weapons before this
Oh, you froze again. We will wait for you to come back.
All right, sorry. I'm way out in the sticks. Elon, you're killing me, dog.
Yeah, but you know what? This doesn't happen on TikTok. So
I'm on Starlink, and I don't know if like that's part of the problem, but I am so far away from civilization.
and we
um,
will actually be wrapping up soon.
yeah, we
Um,
were gonna make this one a little bit shorter, and then switch over to TikTok for some fundraising. Christina, do you want to give out your website again real quick while we're still here?
KhalilForSenate.com, and since it's National Green Party Day, woo, feel free to give me a donation today, please, and
And
thank you.
my donations, my Cash App, Bitcoin. If you guys do Dogecoin, cryptocurrency, Shiba Inu, um, it's all in my bio. It's all in my page. You guys, if you're the people that donate to my page, donate every month, every week. So you guys know where it is. On the other one, we'll maybe push it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Before we close here, and next week we'll have Jason back on, and Aria didn't end up making it today.
No,
She was
but
having some
you know what?
technical
When she
issues.
gets home, it'll be easier for her because she's got TikTok, so it'll be much
TikTok.
better for her. So we'll all
Okay.
just want to go on TikTok live today.
Okay, so we are hopefully going to have, I'm kind of in back and forth with them right now, some guests from Torah Jews in New York and New Jersey. Really great people. And
I follow
I think,
they're really great.
oh yeah, like I absolutely love it. And it's powerful. Now, we've said this with other issues, okay? I'm not Jewish. You're not Jewish. Our thoughts on this are opinions from an American perspective. Our control is over weapon sales, but to come from a Jewish perspective and why they feel this way. I can repeat what I've learned about Zionism. I can repeat my feelings on and opinions on Zionism, but I'm not Jewish. And it comes across the same way where, somebody, a white dude can be right about something and we love what he says and share what he says and has important insight on the black community, right? On black issues. That's fine. But if you can have an actual black person come on, you should probably do that. Right? I can talk about women's issues all the time. I can be right on women's issues as far as most people are concerned. I can have strong feelings and opinions on them. But the persons whose opinions matter are your opinion because you're actually a woman. Right? Like it's a different perspective. And it's not saying that you can't be right and not be part of that group. It's not saying that you can't have insight and can't have knowledge and experience and share important things. Like I said, people agree with you. But there's something special about it coming from the source, right? When he says, look, as a Hasidic Jew, as a Torah, what's the right word here? Not just their perspective is so different, right? Because it's the inside perspective, and those are those people. And when you come out and we say, look, Zionism is not Judaism, they're the people to talk to, the experts on the issue, where he can say, look, here in the Torah it says, which is why we don't believe in this ethno state. Right? Why we believe this is wrong, but it's so important to get it from that. Practicing is not the right word, right? Like you practice religion, like it's not the right word when you come to religious scholarship.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just that you're practicing a religion. You've studied the Torah. You've studied why they were saying these things, what they meant at the time, the history that's behind it, what previous rabbis thought on it, where we're very focused on the here and now.
Yeah.
Right? It would be like bringing on a Christian theologian to refute Christian nationalism.
Yeah.
Right? A very similar situation where it's not just the practicing of a religion, the amount of knowledge you have on why this is so wrong by your own holy book that you believe in, right, is so very, very different. So I do hope to get them on and have some deeper conversations.
Well, I have good faith that they will join and Jason Call will join.
I've got questions that I'm sure a lot of our viewers have, and it's nice to be able to have open conversations with people and be able to ask those questions.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna have them coming on. We have some other guests coming on. We have King Bao coming on eventually to talk about sexual assault and child trafficking and some other real heavy issues, but we'll probably use that for Friday. He's the champion mixed martial art fighter.
Okay, cool.
He uses his platform, like after a fight, to call out pedophiles and child traffickers and Epstein. The dude is wild, and he's one of those guys where, yeah, he doesn't get a lot of, like, people argue with him on social media.
Yeah.
But they don't argue with him face to face.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We've got a lot of keyboard warriors, and they're just tough when it comes to social media. They're not
the Mikey Rappaports of the world. Like, yeah, dude, you're tough on camera. You'd run in the other direction if you saw me in the street.
Yeah, he would. He doesn't break a hip. He'd run in the other direction.
You're not a tough guy.
Right. We're going to wrap up and head over to TikTok, and CleoForSenate.com, which is in my bio on whatever social media you see, is going to have on my website. My TikTok account will be there.
Remember, like, share, and support the revolution. And we'll see everybody on Friday.